In 74 seconds, classified witness testimony from the Russia investigation would surface in a Senate hearing with digital signatures that weren't supposed to exist. The cameras were already rolling. The Senate Intelligence Committee chamber was quiet, staffers lined the walls, reporters sat motionless in the gallery. Adam Schiff sat 3 seats from the chairman, a manila folder closed in front of him, reading glasses resting on top. FBI Director Kash Patel adjusted his microphone, hands flat on the witness table, water glass positioned to his right. This was supposed to be routine oversight, annual budget review, staffing allocations, standard protocol for intelligence agencies. The room held maybe 60 people, congressional aides with notepads, security personnel, near the exits. The overhead lights created sharp shadows across the mahogany table. A digital clock on the wall read 2:43 p.m. Schiff's turn came without warning. Director Patel, are you familiar with FBI case file CR 2019-4471? Patel's eyes moved to Schiff. His expression didn't change. Senator, I oversee thousands of active and closed investigations. I'd need to review specific case details I'm not asking you to review anything. I'm asking if you're familiar with it. Pause. 3 seconds. Patel's right hand shifted slightly on the table. I'm familiar with the designation system. Yes. Schiff opened the manila folder. He didn't look down yet. This case file was opened in March. It involved electronic surveillance and witness testimony related to Russian interference activities. The investigation remained active through your confirmation process in January of this year. If it's an active investigation, I wouldn't be able to discuss specifics in an open setting. It's not active anymore. Patel stopped. His jaw tightened. The case was administratively closed on February 2nd of this year, 3 weeks after your confirmation. Do you recall authorizing that closure? Senator, administrative decisions involve multiple layers of review, and I didn't ask about layers of review. Did you authorize the closure? Patel's hands remained flat, but his fingers spread slightly. I'd have to review the authorization documents to confirm my specific involvement. Schiff pulled a single sheet from the folder. He held it at chest level. This is the administrative closure notice for case file CR 2019. The FBI letterhead was visible at the top, official case number printed below. The closure was authorized digitally using executive credentials assigned to the office of the director. Your office, Director Patel. Patel's breathing pattern changed, slower, more measured. Administrative closures can be processed by senior staff with delegated authority. That's not what the record shows. Schiff set the page down. The digital signature block at the bottom of this document contains your unique credential identifier, not your staff's. Yours. Do you see it? The projection screen zoomed in on the signature. A string of alphanumeric characters appeared below the signature line, timestamp visible to the right. Patel looked at the screen, then back to Schiff. If my credentials were used, I'm sure it was in accordance with standard procedures for case management decisions. Schiff pulled another document. This one was thicker. Multiple pages stapled together. Let's talk about what happened before that case was closed. On January 28th, 4 days after your confirmation, FBI agents submitted a memo requesting continued authorization for witness interviews. They specifically noted that 3 individuals had agreed to provide testimony under proffer agreements. The agents requested a 90-day extension to complete those interviews. Schiff turned a page. Your office denied the request the same day. Why? I don't recall that specific decision. You don't recall denying a request to interview witnesses in an active counterintelligence case 4 days after you became director. Senator, I receive dozens of case management requests daily. Without reviewing the full context, would the full context include the fact that one of those witnesses was a foreign national with direct knowledge of Russian intelligence operations? Silence. 8 seconds. 10. Patel's counsel leaned forward slightly but didn't speak. The gallery was completely still. If the case involved sensitive foreign intelligence, that would require careful handling to avoid compromising sources and methods. Schiff removed another page from the folder. This is an internal email from the supervising agent to his section chief, dated January 29th. 1 day after your office denied the extension request, he held the email so the screen displayed it. Subject line reads, CR 2019. The body of the email states, and I'm quoting directly, all 3 proffer agreements voided per directive from Office of Director. Witnesses notified they will not be interviewed. Case closure recommended. Schiff looked up. You didn't just deny an extension, you terminated witness access entirely. Why? That decision would have been based on an assessment of investigative priorities and resource allocation at the time. 3 witnesses with direct knowledge willing to testify, and you shut it down. Patel's jaw muscles flexed. Senator, I can't speak to the specifics of why certain investigative decisions were made without reviewing the complete case file and the intelligence equities involved. Then let me help you review. Schiff opened a thin folder that had been sitting beneath the first. This is a summary of the 3 witnesses whose interviews were terminated. He placed a single page on the table. Witness 1. Former contractor for a Russian energy firm with documented contacts to FSB officers. Witness 2. Financial analyst who processed transactions between Russian entities and US-based accounts. Witness 3. Telecommunications specialist with access to encrypted communication networks used by Russian intelligence. He looked at Patel. These aren't minor sources. These are people with direct operational knowledge. And you closed their access 4 days into your tenure as director. What possible reason justifies that? I'm sure the decision was made in consultation with senior counterintelligence leadership based on the operational value and risk assessment of continuing that line of inquiry. Schiff pulled another document. Actually, that's not what happened. This is an email from the FBI's Counterintelligence Division Chief to your Deputy Director, dated February 1st. 1 day before you closed the case. He held it up. It reads, Request clarification on directive to terminate CR 2019. CI assessment indicates high-value intelligence potential. Recommend continuation of proffer process. Your own counterintelligence chief asked you not to close it. You closed it anyway. Patel reached for his water glass. He drank slowly. Set it down. Operational decisions sometimes require balancing multiple factors that aren't apparent in isolated communications. That's not an answer. Schiff's voice stayed level but sharpened. Your counterintelligence chief said the witnesses had high value. You ignored him and shut it down. I'm asking why. No response. Just breathing. The air system cycled quietly. Schiff leaned forward slightly. Let me show you something else. He removed a final document from the folder. This one was a spreadsheet. He turned it so Patel could see it but the gallery could not. This is a list of all witness testimony and surveillance materials associated with case file CR 2019. There are 31 entries. Each entry shows the date the material was collected, the classification level, and the current storage status. He ran his finger down one column. Of these 31 items, 24 were originally classified as secret or below when they were collected between 2019 and 2024. Standard classification for counterintelligence materials. He looked up. But as of March 15th of this year, 6 weeks after you closed the case, 19 of those 24 items were reclassified. 14 are now marked top secret SCI. 5 are marked top secret SAI. 5 are marked top secret SAI. Can you explain that? Patel's hands pressed harder against the table. Classification decisions are made based on the sensitivity of the information and the need to protect intelligence sources and methods. These materials were already classified. They were collected under existing authorities with existing protections. What changed between February and March that required 19 documents to be reclassified at the highest levels? I'd have to review the classification decisions with the appropriate oversight bodies to provide specific reasoning. You can't tell me why witness interviews that were secret in 2023 became top secret SCI in 2025. Senator, I'm not going to speculate on classification decisions without full context. Schiff closed the spreadsheet folder. He picked up one more page. He held it without showing it yet. Director Patel, in your written testimony submitted to this committee in January during your confirmation process, you stated that you would ensure transparency and cooperation with congressional oversight to the fullest extent permitted by law. He looked up. Is that still your position? Yeah. Schiff set the page down in front of him. This is a denial letter from your office to the Senate Intelligence Committee. It's dated March 22nd. It's signed by you. The projection screen filled with the letter. FBI letterhead at top. Patel's signature at bottom. In this letter, you denied our request for access to case file CR 2019-4471 materials, citing their classification status and ongoing intelligence sensitivities. Schiff's voice stayed measured. But the case is closed. There are no ongoing intelligence operations. So why are you denying access? Classified materials require separate handling protocols, regardless of case status. We requested declassification review. You denied that too. Patel's breathing was shallow now. The denial was based on the assessment that declassification would risk exposure of sources and methods that remain operationally sensitive. The sources you wouldn't let testify. The methods you shut down 4 days after taking office. Schiff pulled a photograph from the folder. It was a screenshot, timestamp visible in the corner. This is a screenshot of the FBI's internal case management database. It was taken by a field agent on February 1st at 6:47 p.m. He slid it across the table. It shows case file CR 2019-44701 with a status of active pending witness interviews. He pulled a second screenshot. Same case number, different timestamp. This screenshot was taken on February 3rd at 9:15 a.m. Same case file, but now the status reads closed administrative reclassification. Everything that existed on February 1st is gone by February 3rd. Witness access terminated. Case closed. Materials reclassified. Schiff's voice dropped but stayed sharp. In 48 hours, you erased an active counterintelligence investigation. So I'm going to ask you directly. Did you close case file CR 2019-4471 to prevent those witnesses from testifying? That's an inappropriate characterization of a routine case management decision. It's not routine when your own counterintelligence chief objects. It's not routine when you reclassify 19 documents to the highest security levels. And it's not routine when you do it all within 3 weeks of taking office. Silence. Complete silence. 15 seconds. 20. Patel's expression remained controlled, but his eyes moved to his counsel, then back to Schiff. The room didn't move. Senator, classification and case closure decisions are made through established procedures with input from career professionals who understand the intelligence equities at stake. Name one. Schiff didn't pause. Name one. Career professional who recommended closing that case. Patel stopped. His mouth opened slightly, closed. I'd have to review the decision-making record to provide specific names. You signed the closure authorization. You reclassified the documents. You denied congressional access, and now you can't name a single person who agreed with you. Schiff gathered his papers slowly. No rush. No theatrics. This committee is issuing a subpoena for all internal communications related to case file CR 2019-4471. Including emails, memos, and decision logs from January 24th through March 31st. You have 96 hours to comply. He stood. Additionally, we're requesting that the Intelligence Community Inspector General conduct an immediate review of the reclassification decisions and the termination of witness access in this case. Patel sat motionless. His hands stayed flat on the table. His water glass had condensation running down the sides. We'll reconvene in 2 weeks. Schiff's voice stayed level. At that time, you will explain why an active counterintelligence case was dismantled within weeks of your confirmation, why witnesses with critical information were silenced, and why you reclassified materials to hide them from the committee charged with overseeing your work. The chairman's gavel fell once. Patel didn't stand, didn't reach for his folder, just sat there under the lights as the gallery began to empty. His counsel leaned in to whisper, but Patel didn't turn his head. The cameras stayed on. The 19 reclassified documents were still sealed. The 3 witnesses were still silent. And 74 seconds of questioning had exposed a signature that proved he'd authorized it all.